but the journey that you're on, like, how long have you been on this journey that, you know, you're currently on?
Well, as a kid, I was always quite connected to spirit anyway, because I did spend some time with myself, and that made me close to myself and like the spirit world. My dreams, I've always had kind of strong dreams, sometimes premonition dreams. But really, when I left home, I then got a lot into meditation, because that was the way for me to ground myself and to deal with everything that I had been through and what I was feeling, because I had to run away from home. But even while I was there, you know, I did see some things, light energies, dark energies. I naturally had to protect myself and my siblings with light. So it's kind of like I knew certain things anyway, and I already had it, but I got deeper into it about 16 when I really started to study some ancient scriptures, you know. Because when I was 6, you know, brought up in Catholicism and Sikhism, I was wondering, you know, do I have to pick one? Because I went to school with nuns, and then we went to the Sikh temple. But, you know, I had a vision from Mary when I was like 6 or 7, and she said, you don't need to pick. It's all the same really underneath. And that really sparked my understanding and kind of delving into a lot of different religions and ancient scriptures and seeing the oneness within everything. And that's what a song that's going to be out soon, Ancient Symbols, is really about. It's about going to the root of actually all of it. It's like some people say, your God, my God. You know, there's one, and we're all created after that. So yeah, I would say short and short, that's where it really started when I was 16. And then over the years, a bit more meditation, poetry, more mystical experiences happen. And it just shows you, yeah, you're connected. And crystals came into my life when I started protesting, actually. I got given my first crystal. And I remember having a dream about a crystal, and then I woke up and I found this crystal. I was like, oh, it was so tiny. It was about that big. It was a pink kunzite. And I said, you're the one I dreamt about. You know, slices and everything. Crystals. And I went to embankment and I did a meditation with this little tiny crystal. And this crystal helps you heal your inner child. And I sat there and I put it like on my head. And I could feel this energy interact with my energy and with my intention to heal that aspect. And literally I felt it. And that's the first time I proper felt crystal healing.
Yeah. And even just the thought of like healing your inner child, I feel like also till now, like when I have conversation with certain people, I feel like still I don't think people take it serious. Some people, because I don't know, maybe some people don't know how important it is to heal your inner child, or maybe some people don't know how to do it. But even for you, like, would you say like because I'm sure, I don't know if we've spoke about this before, like in details, but do you feel like even where you are now, like internally, spiritually, do you feel like you've definitely completely healed your inner child, or there's still some work to do?
Okay, so to answer your first question, I think some people don't think about it or want to do it because maybe they haven't had, maybe their inner child's been fine, you know, maybe they haven't had a wounded inner child.
Yeah, true, that's true.
Not everyone has been through certain things,
like
so they're not going to maybe understand what someone that has and how it can affect them.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because you can't really see it on the outside, can you? If someone's really been hurt on the inside, you can't always see it. It just manifests in behaviours. So I think, you know, if you have been through some things and you have felt, you know, a lot of grief as a kid or been through traumas, it is wise to just spend some time with your inner self, your child self. And you could look at a picture of yourself when you were like a certain age or very young, and that helps me connect with that part of myself. And then you can close your eyes and meditate and imagine them with you, in front of you, and then have a conversation, give them a hug if they need to hug, ask them what they're upset about, and work through it like that. So it's kind of, in a way, you're time traveling, but in your mind, because you're going back to that younger you, and you're giving them the advice that maybe you would have wanted at that time. And then in that way it can heal in this timeline. Because sometimes that inner child comes out in petty arguments, or, you know, like, why am I so wound up about that person? Or how did that person, you know, sometimes that inner child could come out when we're really like, you can see it sometimes. Like, I started noticing myself, how she comes out sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that's a important step to notice as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
For healing. And I would say it's got much better, definitely. Like
well, that's
I wrote
good.
My song.
That's really good.
But when it does come up, you know, it's a process. So every time it's less and it's less her. But it might just come up and then you catch it and you do that little exercise again and you notice it in yourself. So I wouldn't say completely, but definitely a lot more than she was healed.
Yeah. And even just talking about finding your own tribe, you obviously, you know, like one thing I've clocked over the last year and a half, where I speak to some people and they say they've basically like connected with certain people, and as times went by, things didn't really work out, and they've had to go their own separate ways.
Yeah.
But then some people have kind of been put off, thinking, well, I thought this was my tribe. Maybe everyone's the same. What's the point of continuing to look for more people like-minded? And some people just give up, and unfortunately, what I realized, some people end up like going in this little bubble where it's like, you know, they become lonely again. Like, what are your thoughts in terms of like sometimes just finding certain people who you think they're my tribe, and then along the way, like some things obviously end up not working out, and then all of you have to go your own separate ways, and then like moving forward, like in terms of like some people getting put off, like what are your thoughts on that? Because you know that's happened to me. That happens, I think, to a lot of us, where it's like, you know, we make connections with certain people and we think these are gonna be our people for life. You get me? Like we finally found our people, and then we move forward, and then things happen, and then that's not really the case. You get me? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because some people really get put off.
Yeah. So, like in my new song, is actually called Tribe, and it's about connecting with like-minded people and building. But what I would say as well, like a little motto, is your vibe attracts your tribe. So sometimes, you know, we don't always stay the same. We grow through life. That's why we might grow apart from certain people. Our morals might not align. You know, I believe just our behaviours might not align anymore. And I might not be in our highest good to be with those people or us for them. So that's okay. That's okay. And maybe it's for another life if you believe in next lives. But what I would say is that sometimes, I know what you're saying about you want to people that have been through that, and it can cause a hurt.
Yeah.
But then it's not about looking sometimes. It's just about you emanating your vibe, your love, your interests, your beliefs, your morals, what you want in a community, and you put that out into the world. You're going to attract. So you don't have to really look, you attract. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
That's the advice I would say.
Yeah. Because, sometimes that could be like heartbreaking sometimes when you think, right, we've been riding for a while and now we have to go our own separate ways.